What's going on? Hola, hola. Okay. Hey, appreciate the support, Derek. Let's have a profitable first day for you, man. Listening while at work. Well, you do have your priorities in check. Yep, Cade Cunningham officially not on a minutes restriction. You know, I don't think he gets his full allotment of minutes today. Like 32, 34 minutes. That's definitely possible. But I think he plays, you know, at least 25 minutes. And with this being a short slate and us already gearing up to be a stars and scrubs kind of build, especially on Draftkings, I think you just go ahead and play Cade Cunningham, eat the chalk, get different elsewhere. If you want to direct pivot to him, you know, maybe get off of him, go to George Hill, you know, plays the same position, same price point. He could outscore him for sure. If you guys want to gain some ownership leverage over there. But you could definitely get away with playing both of them. Cade Cunningham, definitely the better play in a vacuum. Austin, let me check this real quick, and then we will get into the news. Checking out your lineup right now. I'm not really on Luka today, to be honest. This lineup is very news dependent, Austin, with Sengun and Kenyon Martin. Really need Jayshawn Tate and Daniel Tice to be out for this lineup to be valid, but I like the rest of it. Sato and play for the Pels. No, I would prefer Kara Lewis to him. Maxi Kleber out 7 to 10 days. Okay, let's go over the news, and then we will get into this. What we should be doing lineup construction wise, as well as answering as many questions as I possibly can. Okay, so we will start up top with the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Detroit Pistons at 211.5 over under. The Bucks are currently 4.5 point favorites. I think you just need to be playing Giannis Antetokounmpo. Obviously, they are without Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Dante DiVincenzo. It's really hard for me not to play Giannis with how much value we are given on this slate. Obviously, he's 11,600, a lofty price tag, but this is the best fantasy player of all time, and now we're getting him without their three best offensive players. Love Giannis Antetokounmpo. Great matchup. The game is projected to be close. So yeah, I think you go ahead and play Giannis Antetokounmpo. Other guys I like from this team, I guess Grayson Allen is a pretty solid play at 4,800. I think his minutes are secure today, especially without all these guys. Pat Connaughton's more of a secondary play. Jordan Nwora, Bobby Portis. You know, Bobby Portis actually, I think he should play low 20s minutes in this game. Obviously a very good per minute producer. Was on a minutes limit the last time he played. Then he ended up resting the next game. Or vice versa. I think that he plays, you know, yeah, like I said, low 20s minutes. He's an interesting tournament play at $4,400. George Hill at $3,800. You know, should play around 30 minutes, starting in place of Drew Holiday. I think he is one of the better plays on the slate, especially in the sub 4K. Wow, Jalen Brunson actually getting the start today. That's pretty interesting. We'll go over that in a bit. That's definitely interesting. I might make a pivot on FanDuel now, just because we know that they are going to want to play him for the offense. But yeah, George Hill at $3,800. I think it's a really good play. A good pivot off of Cade Cunningham if you want to get off the Cade Cunningham chalk. He's going to be very, very chalky. And then I'm expecting Thanasis Antetokounmpo to play pretty decent minutes today at $3,100. One of the better sub 4K value plays, and he is near the minimum. You know, Budenholzer has been talking up playing him for his defense. And there's plenty of big wings on this Detroit team for him to guard. So if he could play 30 minutes at $3,100, one of the best, if not the best, near minimum price guys. On the Detroit Pistons, I'm really not considering anybody outside of Cade Cunningham at $3,600. It is said that he is going to be off of the minutes restriction today. Now, I don't expect him to play, his full 32 minutes. He's only played one game so far this year. I think he went 1 for 8 shooting wise. Yeah, 1 for 8. Picks up some boards. I don't expect him to actually be that crazy of a fantasy producer, at least early on in his career. It looks like Killian Hayes is going to be the main ball handler while he is out there on the court. So he's going to be shooting dependent, going to need to crash to the boards like he did in game 1. But yeah, $3,600. If he plays 25 plus minutes at this price point, I'm probably just going to eat the chalk and get different elsewhere in tournaments. In tournaments, you can actually fade him, in my opinion. But in cash games, you probably just go ahead and play him. If you're playing one lineup, I probably play him. Move over to the Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks. 210 over under. Heat are currently 2.5 point favorites. The Heat are going to be without Victor Oladipo, Max Strus. Bam Adebayo was questionable, but he is going to give it a go. He is available on today's slate. But with him healthy and, the rest of this team being pretty much full strength outside of Victor Oladipo, they're priced to points where I'm not really considering them over here on DraftKings. I think on FanDuel, they're much more affordable, especially Kyle Lowry at $5,900, where I have more interest in this Miami Heat team. But over on DraftKings, I'm not really considering anybody on this team. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be without Maxi Kleber and Kristaps Porzingis today. Without Maxi Kleber last game, Maxi ended up leaving the game shortly after that game began. Dwight Howard saw his minutes increase to 33 minutes. I think he matches up best against Bam Adebayo in this Miami Heat team. And he is only $4,000, so we could see him playing north of 30 minutes here. I think he is a really, really good play today on both sides, DraftKings and FanDuel. $4,000, he's not the best per minute producer. And actually, I like the over on his rebounds and fantasy score overall over on PrizePicks if you guys want to take a look at that. I don't think that they necessarily go small in this game outside of Dwight Powell. So I like Dwight Powell quite a bit at 4,000, but this matchup is just so tough against the Miami Heat. I'm not really considering Luka Doncic. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. at $6,100 is probably too expensive, much more affordable on FanDuel. And then Jalen Brunson, at $5,500, now that he's grabbing the start, and there's no Maxi Kleber, so we're probably just going to see Dwight Powell and some other guys interchange at the 5. It's going to open up more minutes for the guards. So I think Jalen Brunson has a pretty solid route of getting up to, high 20s minutes, and that actually makes him a pretty solid play today despite the matchup. Definitely takes away from Luka Doncic, and I'm actually going to place a bet right now with Brunson over. Wow. So Dwight Powell earlier on in the day was at 21. Jalen moved to, he's at 24. I still lean the over here. Still lean the over on Tim Hardaway as well. We need to pair this with somebody. So I'll go ahead and pair that with Chris Paul over 34.5 fantasy points. I like Chris Paul quite a bit today. We'll go ahead and place this right now. If you guys want to tail that over Jalen Brunson over Chris Paul. But we will move on to the Sacramento Kings versus the Utah Jazz at 221.5 over under. Jazz are currently 9.5 point favorites. The Sacramento Kings have no injuries. Marvin Bagley continues to be out of the rotation. Harrison Barnes, he's 5th in the league with averaging 37.3 minutes per game, averaging over a fantasy point per minute. And actually, what's his projection at right now? Because I got in on him earlier in the day. He's still at 30.5 fantasy points. So obviously a very tough matchup, but if this game is competitive, he's going to play around 37 minutes with no Marvin Bagley on the court this year. He's being replaced by Davion Mitchell and Mo Harkless. Those guys do not shoot the ball like Marvin Bagley does. And so he's going to play 37 plus minutes at over a fantasy point per minute. This seems like a very, very easy projection for Harrison Barnes to hit. So definitely a strong lean on the over. But at least when it comes to FanDuel and DraftKings, I'm not really considering anybody on the Sacramento Kings. On the Utah Jazz side, though, I am considering some players. Rudy Gay is out. I do like Donovan Mitchell quite a bit in this matchup. Rudy Gobert against a undersized Sacramento Kings team, he could rack up 20 boards if this game is competitive. His defensive rebounding numbers have been through the roof so far this year. I like Mike Conley quite a bit at 6,000. I like him even more so over on FanDuel, where I believe he's 5,500. Let me make sure. Yeah, an abysmal price tag for Mike Conley. And actually, if you take a look at it, he's run into some really bad luck. He averages 9.4 potential assists per game so far this year, but is only coming away with 3.6 assists per game. So those assist numbers are going to start creeping up, especially in this matchup against the Sacramento Kings. I think they should, the guys that he's passing to in shooting should have a lot better time getting buckets and getting better shots. So I like Mike Conley quite a bit today. I don't think he's going to come in at very high ownership. Bojan Bogdanovic, talked about him in my video a bit earlier, $5,100. His role is very, very secure. Should play 30 plus minutes in this game. Very good matchup, like I mentioned earlier. Only $5,100. Like the Utah Jazz guys a good bit today. The Phoenix Suns are going to be without Dario Saric campaign. DeAndre Ayton is questionable, and I lean towards more of the doubtful side. We saw a video earlier of him on the court just in a shirt tossing some balls in to some players, and they mentioned yesterday how they need to take this injury serious. The contusion is pretty bad. I'm expecting DeAndre Ayton to sit in this game. And so that is going to open up JaVale McGee in the starting lineup. They're going to need his size. I don't think they're probably going to opt to play some small ball with Jay Crowder at the 5. But against Jonas Valanciunas, who's probably going to play pretty big minutes in this game, at least as long as the game is competitive. So JaVale McGee is going to play pretty big minutes. He's an absolute lock for me. But yeah, I was starting on the wrong team. We'll go back to the Pelicans really quick. The Pelicans are going to be without Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Garrett Temple, Devontae Graham. So we're going to see a similar situation to what we saw last game. You know, if they keep this game competitive, I mean, if this game is really competitive, Jonas Valanciunas maybe the best spend up option on the slate, but it is so volatile because I could easily see this game getting out of hand. Phoenix perimeter defense is very, very good. They're just going to be chucking it into Jonas, and I think he's going to have a good time against JaVale McGee. The opportunities should be there a lot for Jonas Valanciunas. Not really considering Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but Devontae Graham at $6,400. We talked about it even when Brandon Ingram was healthy, that his assist percentage is coming up since coming over from the Charlotte Hornets. With the Hornets, he was more of a spot-up shooter, but this year with the Pelicans, he's running as a true point guard, and him and Brandon Ingram were splitting those assist percentages pretty much right down the middle and ball handling duties. But now that Ingram is out, we saw that Devontae Graham, his assist opportunities rose quite considerably last game without Brandon Ingram. So we get that same situation here. I like him a good bit over here at $6,400. I like his over on Prize Picks. It's just a matter if this game does stay competitive or not. Really just considering Jonas Valanciunas and Devontae Graham. You know, sure, there's going to be some guys on this team in the cheaper range that are going to get some minutes, but I think there's much better plays that you don't really need to consider guys like that. The Phoenix Suns, got a bit ahead of myself earlier. Dario Saric campaign are out. DeAndre Ayton looks like he's going to be more on the doubtful side. I already mentioned this, but yeah, I think he's not going to play in this game. JaVale McGee would become a must play if he is in fact ruled out. Luckily, we have some plays in the later game, so even if Ayton ends up playing, you can make some pivots down to guys like DeAndre Jordan, especially if Dwight Howard is in fact ruled out, which I think is a pretty good possibility today. And also, if you are playing JaVale McGee and Giannis Antetokounmpo, if you can leave JaVale in your utility spot, if that is possible, I would do that. Because if Ayton plays, you can pivot down from JaVale McGee to a guy like Kenyon or KJ Martin for the Houston Rockets if Jae'Sean Tate is in fact ruled out, which I think is also a pretty decent opportunity for that to happen. I think Chris Paul at $7,600, he actually leads the league in a potential assists per game at 19.6. I think he should be able to absolutely murder this New Orleans Pelicans team at $7,600. One of my favorite, upper mid-range plays on the slate. I prefer him to Devin Booker. I think he is in a very, very good spot today. And then Mikal Bridges at $5,200. I think if we assume DeAndre Ayton is out, I think Mikal Bridges actually benefits the most offensively. I think we should see a lot more shots from Mikal Bridges in this game if Ayton is in fact ruled out. Jay Crowder, one of the better plays over on FanDuel at $4,200 over there. But really focusing in on Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, and JaVale McGee on the Phoenix Suns side. Move over to the last game of the slate. We have a ton of injury news in this, but I have some leans on who's going to play and who's not going to play. The Houston Rockets versus the Los Angeles Lakers at 217.5 over under. Lakers are currently 10-point favorites. The Rockets are going to be without John Wall, Daniel House, and then Daniel Tice and Jayshawn Tate are questionable. So if Jayshawn Tate is out, KJ Martin becomes a near must play for me. He played very well in his time the last 2 games, but especially in the fourth quarter last game against this very same Los Angeles Lakers team. But of course, this is the last game of the slate, 3.5 hours after lock, so not sure we're going to get news on that until that game ends up locking. And then Daniel Tice, he is dealing with some soreness right now. He's an older guy. We heard before the season that Eric Gordon and Daniel Tice are going to have rest days throughout the year just because they are older players on this team. They're really just trying to give their younger guys looks. They're not trying to win any of these games. So I think there is a good chance Daniel Tice sits in this game. If that is the case, Alperen Sengun would likely start in his absence, and then he would become. If I knew ahead of time Daniel Tice was ruled out, Sengun would be an absolute lock for me. I would like him more than JaVale McGee, but I think more times than not, even if Daniel Tice ends up playing, Sengun is going to play those 18 minutes off the bench. He averages 1.16 fantasy points per minute so far this year. He could pay off his price tag in that time. You wouldn't necessarily be drawing dead if Tice ended up playing. But I think that Sengun probably would be a must play if Daniel Tice was ruled out. I also love Kevin Porter Jr. today on both sides. I love him more on FanDuel, but on Draftkings, I like him. I like him a good bit as well. I think Kevin Porter Jr., very, very good play. The Los Angeles Lakers are going to be without Talon Horton Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, Trevor Ariza, LeBron James, Wayne Ellington, and Dwight Howard are all questionable. I'm expecting LeBron to play. Even if Wayne Ellington is active today, I don't think he touches the court. And then I think Dwight Howard probably sits in this game. Frank Vogel has mentioned how they're going to start going heavier on the small ball lineups, with Anthony Davis at the 5. Without Dwight Howard last game, we saw Anthony Davis slide down to the 5. Avery Bradley ended up entering the starting lineup, but Avery Bradley, Kent Bazemore, those guys are pretty much just sitting in the corner with LeBron James, Westbrook, and AD doing all the work. I think Anthony Davis has the highest minutes upside in this of the big three on the Lakers, and I think he absolutely destroys this Houston Rockets front court, whether it be Daniel Tice, Christian Wood at the 5, or whenever Sengun is out there and Anthony Davis is out there as well at the 5, Anthony Davis is going to absolutely murder Sengun. As much as I like Sengun, not the best defender, but that's all I'm really looking at on this Los Angeles Lakers team and on this slate. But I think this slate is pretty easy, actually. I think it's really stars and scrubs. I think you play Giannis and Antetokounmpo. You probably play Anthony Davis as well, and you get the obvious value plays in. Brunson starting for Porzingis. Yeah, I think Brunson definitely gets an upgrade. Man, that matchup is just so tough for Jalen Brunson and the Dallas Mavericks. That's why I'm not really considering Luka all that much. They just have a lot of guys that they can throw at Luka, like PJ Tucker, like Jimmy Butler. It just makes things a bit tougher for Luka in this offense. I mean, this game could really get out of hand. Cunningham or Grayson Allen in a vacuum? Probably Cunningham for me. Ayton is more on the doubtful side. I do not believe that Ayton plays tonight. And if he doesn't play, we can pivot down to some guys. Thanasis or Herbert Jones. DK, I'm probably going with Thanasis. I think his minutes are a bit more... I think he's a bit better with his minutes than Herbert Jones is. I think that they have just as safe as minutes as one another. Knowing his lack of minutes history, even if in spot starts, is JaVale still a must if Aaron is out? You mean DeAndre Ayton? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Finney-Smith or Hart. I'm probably going to go with Josh Hart there. Thoughts on Herbert Jones? I mean, Herbert Jones definitely going to get the minutes today. He is just not a very good per minute producer whatsoever. I know last game he ended up doing it, but man, you're running real thin with these guys right here. I think there's better plays. Like I would definitely rather have George Hill. I would definitely rather have Cade Cunningham. I'd rather have Thanasis. I mean, if you run into Herbert Jones, I guess it's not the worst play, but I would not expect that same outcome as he got last time. This matchup is much tougher than the Knicks. The Phoenix Suns, very, very good defensively. Sadiq Bey, no, I'm not really on the Pistons. With Cade Cunningham being back, it kind of takes away the shot volume from Sadiq Bey and Grant and Jeremy Grant, which they need all the shot volume they can get because they are pretty scoring reliant. Top 2 studs in cash: Giannis Antetokounmpo and Anthony Davis. Sengun or Dwight Powell? FanDuel. I would probably just play it safe and play Dwight Powell because you're not going to want to play Alperen Sengun if Daniel Tice is in, and we're probably not going to get that news because that game is 3.5 hours after lock. Prize picks tonight. Yeah, I am about to post a prize picks play on Patreon. Hill, Cunningham, Grayson Allen, Giannis, Sengun, Mitchell, AD, McGee. Don't mind that. It's just like, again, guys, like Sengun, be ready to pivot because you probably don't want to be playing him if Daniel Tice is active. Playing Cade, yeah, I think you go ahead and play Cade on Draftkings. On FanDuel, you can get away with not playing him because, there's a lot of good plays priced around him. On Draftkings, he's $3,600. Like, that is an abysmal price tag. Very, very bad price tag. Lowry over 29. I do like Lowry over 29. 100%. I actually think that the Mavericks are going to put Dorian Finney-Smith exclusively on Jimmy Butler today, so it's going to open up some things for Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo. So I do like that. Any Westbrook love? I don't mind Westbrook. Westbrook would be my second spend up option behind Anthony Davis ahead of LeBron James. Only AD if Bronson's. No, I'm expecting Bron to play. I just love Anthony Davis today. I think he's in a very, very good spot. Sengun or McGee? Finney-Smith or Hart. Good for DK, Cade, Mitchell, Grayson Allen, Giannis, JaVale, Porter Jr., Bridges, and Graham. Love it, Mason. Who do you like money line? I like the Heat. I think the Heat win. Hey, appreciate that, Craig. Paul, Hill, Gordon, Cade, Giannis, Hart, Powell, Bam, Gobert, FanDuel, single entry. I like that. It's definitely... I don't know how high owned Gobert is going to be today because I think a lot of the ownership is going to be going to guys like McGee tonight, but I think Gobert is definitely in a good spot. Pat Connaughton or Nwora on DK, it's going to be Pat Connaughton for me. With Bobby Portis being back and Semi Ojeleye being there, it kind of hurts the minutes of Jordan Nwora. I know Jordan Nwora kind of shit the bed last time, but he got the minutes, and historically he's been a much better per minute producer than what he showed that last game. He definitely should have paid off that price tag. Grayson Allen or Bogdanovich? I'm going to go with Grayson Allen there. How many bucks is too many? I have Giannis, Allen, and Thanasis with a Cunningham bringback. I think that is definitely fine. Yeah, and if you're looking for another bringback for the Detroit Pistons, you can also bring it back with Kelly Olynyk. I think Kelly Olynyk, it looked like he was going to be on track to close the third straight game, but the game got too out of hand. But I think especially in this matchup, Kelly Olynyk is an amazing play today. I will say that. Kelly Olynyk is an amazing play today. He's probably going to reach like the upper 20s minutes tonight in this matchup, and I think that he's averaged near 1.3 fantasy points per minute so far on the year. Do I start with Hill or Brunson at point guard? DK Cash. If I were to choose between the two, it'd probably be Jalen Brunson now that he's grabbing the start. You like Wood tonight? How about Mitchell? I'm not really on Christian Wood tonight. I do like Donovan Mitchell quite a bit. Why you on McGee? I'm expecting DeAndre Ayton to sit tonight and he will grab the start. Can you play Brunson on DK? At that price point, I don't like it as much. He's still viable there for sure. If you could swap positions around, I'd probably prefer Kelly Olynyk to Brunson though. You like Josh Hart for a sneaky value. I know he'll be low owned. Yeah, I mean, his minutes were there. I was predicting him to play around 30 minutes last game, and I think he played exactly 30 minutes and put up a pretty solid game. We know he's a pretty good rebounder. He doesn't need to shoot. His usage is going to be up without Brandon Ingram, but the peripherals should continue to be there, so I don't mind Josh Hart at that price. Herbert Jones with no Ingram. I don't mind him. Not on my sheet. I'm not really considering him today, but I get the thought process. I mean, he played 36 minutes last time out. He was playing about 30 minutes the games before. He's just not a very good per minute producer. He only had one good fancy outcome game. The rest of the games, he had like an 8% usage. It was abysmal. Luka in play at lower ownership? I guess so. I mean, I guess that's the time to play Luka at lower ownership. It's just like this matchup scares me a lot in the Miami Heat. 7.4K for forward or reconstruct lineup. Let's take a look at the forwards at that 7.4K range. Off the top of my head, I don't think there's anybody in this range. I mean, if you had to choose a guy, I mean, like I don't mind Harrison Barnes. Like, he's gonna play big minutes. His offensive role has definitely evolved this year with no Marvin Bagley, so I don't mind that. If you like the rest of your teams, I'd probably just run that. KJ Martin and Porter in the same lineup, assuming Tate out. If Tate is in, I'll swap to Crowder. Yeah, I think that's definitely the move right there. And I think you're probably talking about FanDuel, because Crowder and Martin are, so you're going to be leaving some money on the table if Tate ends up playing, or if Tate is out and you play KJ Martin. But I think that's sharp. I think that's definitely fine to play Tate and Porter if, or Martin and Porter if Tate is out. Favorite pay-up options outside of Giannis: Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, but Anthony Davis specifically. You like Russ for top scorer of the night? No, not really. Olynyk is only 28 fantasy points on Prize Picks. Did they move it? It was at 26. That's unfortunate. I can't even remember if I got any action in on Kelly at 26. Yeah, that sucks. How high are you on Mike Conley? I think that positive regression is going to hit Mike Conley eventually. I like him a lot more on FanDuel than I do on Draftkings. Allen, the best point per dollar small forward? Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, it's tough, man. Small forward is pretty weak today, so yeah, it's probably Grayson for me. Portis or Hart? DK, I'm going to go with Josh Hart there. Scale of 1 to 10 on Mike Conley. On FanDuel, probably like an 8. On Draftkings, probably like a 6. Last man in: Grayson, Connaughton, or Eric. Going to go with Grayson there. Martin or McGee if Tate is out? McGee. And that's assuming Ayton is out as well. Favorite DK GPP stack? You know, probably just stacking the Bucks and bringing it back with Cade and Kelly Olynyk. Josh Green, 3,000 for final spot. Nah, I'm not really considering that. Favorite small forward under 4,000 on DK? No Bucks. Let's take a look. Excluding the Bucks, sub 4K small forward. And I mean, it's probably Herbert Jones there or Cam Johnson. Man, that's tough. I probably just go with Herbert Jones there if that's the spot that you are in. Buddy Hield, go for 30 plus DK points. It's just his minutes are pretty sketchy for me. I think that this game does go a bit smaller outside of obviously Rashawn Holmes and Rudy Gobert. So I think Hield could play more minutes than usual. 30 plus, I mean, seems pretty doable for him. His usage rate is up from last year. Wait, you don't like Adebayo tonight? I mean, Adebayo is in a fine spot, but I'm just really not considering him all that much. Play Giannis at small forward or power forward on FanDuel. Value seems solid on power forward. I mean, there's good value on both sides, on power forward and small forward, so I'm definitely fine with playing him in either place. Allen or Hart? Allen for me. Portis, KJ Martin, or Finney Smith? Well, if Jayshawn Tate is out, then it's KJ Martin. But since we don't have that news, I probably just go tournament, get the lower ownership with Bobby Portis. Do we know if McGee has started? We don't have confirmation just yet. Kyrie Lewis or Caleb Martin, going to be Lewis for me. If Ayton is in, do we still play McGee? No, we will make a pivot. There are 2 games with injury implications in them, especially the last game. So we should have something open up for a pivot on them. But again, guys, if you guys are playing McGee on DraftKings and you can play McGee at the utility spot, you could play Giannis at center. I would do that because then potentially in the next game we could pivot down from McGee to a guy like KJ Martin if that opens up. Yeah, if you guys are in here or haven't done so already, let's run up the likes. Make sure to subscribe, trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Giannis Antetokounmpo officially listed available to play, as well as Grayson Allen. Rodney Hood also active. 4.5K guard. Probably Pat Connaughton right there. I think he's 4.5. No, he's 4.6. Let's take a look. 4.5K guard. Man, that's tough. I'd probably go down to George Hill. You could play Duncan Robinson. Hope he catches fire from 3. Hill, Cade, Allen, Giannis, Sengun, Luka, Barnes, McGee, GPP. I dig it, man. You don't think LBJ sits tonight? 10.5 favorites. Seems like the best spot for the Lakers to rest him if you're the Lakers. Yeah, well, you would have thought that last time, right? Against the same Houston Rockets team, and they didn't rest him. So I don't know. I mean, they definitely could rest him. And if they do rest him, at least if you're me or any of my Patreon members, we're probably playing Anthony Davis. So that would be an even bigger boost to AD. So would love to see that. I think that would be amazing. Cade or Hill? Gonna be Cade for me. Duncan Robinson, GPP. I think that's fine. Gobert or Valanciunas? Definitely Valanciunas for me. Who do you like player points for Heat versus Mavs? I like Kyle Lowry today, so probably Lowry there. 80 or Jimmy? 80 for sure. Any thoughts on Kaminsky? Nah, not really on Kaminsky. I mean, he'll get back up run behind JaVale, but I think more likely they probably run some small ball with Crowder behind McGee. You know, all assuming DeAndre Ayton is out. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that. Yeah, we saw on Twitter last night that LeBron was saying that he was going to play today. So LeBron's gonna play. What do you think of Martin, shooting guard from Miami? Nah. No, thank you. Is Lyles okay instead of McKee? No. Porter Jr. or Holmes? Probably Kevin Porter. I like Porter quite a bit tonight. I mean, dude, this Houston Lakers game is going to be incredibly fast-paced, and that suits Kevin Porter. And Kevin Porter had one of his best games of the year last game in this matchup. So I like Kevin Porter. Ayton sitting. I'm expecting him to sit. I think he's more on the doubtful side, to be honest. Bradley last spot. How much is Bradley? He's minimum price. So yeah, Bradley. So I think it's pretty dependent on Dwight Howard playing or not, because Dwight Howard sat last game, and so they slid AD to the 5, and Avery Bradley ended up getting the starting spot, played 30 minutes. I mean, him and Bazemore just sat in the corner. I mean, dude, look, if he didn't get 4 stocks, he would have scored 5.25 fantasy points. I mean, if you need a minimum price guy, I guess you could do worse. You know, I think Dwight probably sits tonight, and we see a similar lineup. But man, that's running real thin. It's not worth a play with Ingram and Devontae questionable. So Brandon Ingram is out tonight, Gordon, and Devontae Graham is probable. Looks like he is going to give it a go. So I'm not really considering more of a tournament option for me. It was pretty concerning that he didn't touch the ball at all last game. It was really just Devontae Graham. And then him tossing it into the paint to Jonas, so Valanciunas could do work. And then off the bench, Kyrie Lewis was actually more active than Nickeil Alexander-Walker, so I'm not really considering them there, or not all that much. You playing Barnes on DK? I'm personally not. I think he's more of a secondary play to me. 8 and out. We don't know for sure, but I think that he's more on the doubtful side. Just a personal lean. Booker or Mitchell on FanDuel? Mitchell for me. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is $8,000 on FanDuel. Crazy price. Thoughts on Thanasis? I think Thanasis is fine. He's $3,100 on DraftKings, so very good price. He's $4,200 on FanDuel. Prefer Jay Crowder slightly, but I still think he's a fine play. What about McGee on FanDuel? He's only center eligible. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna play him anyways. And if we don't get word that DeAndre Ayton is out, I can just pivot over to DeAndre Jordan. I'm assuming Dwight Howard is going to be out, so DeAndre Jordan will see like around 16, 17 minutes, and I'll kind of just eat that, and that's fine because the upside of playing JaVale McGee is pretty high given that price. Kevin Porter or Harrison Barnes? Disregard price. Who do you think gets more fantasy points? Definitely Harrison Barnes. Grayson Allen or Cunningham? Going to be Grayson Allen. Or actually, sorry, it's going to be Cunningham for me. I know you're talking about on FanDuel. I prefer to have Cunningham if I had that extra $100 to get up to him. Favorite game stack? Late night hammer. Yeah, I like the Houston versus Lakers game, and I like the Milwaukee-Detroit game. Brunson, Nah, or DFS Hart? Definitely Brunson, Nah. Guard 4,900 or less. Sorry, going to be Grayson Allen for me. Kyle Lowry over 14.5 sound good tonight. Yeah, I think that's fine. Peep DMs, I got you, Steph. Is this two different lineups? No, they're the same. Or they're different. Yeah, Steph. Man, I really like the first one after first look. Really like the first one. Yeah, so the first one's a lot safer. The second one is more tournament just because of the Pelicans guys. But you are okay, so I mean if you want pure upside, it's probably the second one. And you just hope that game stays competitive, because if that Pelicans game is competitive, it's because of Devontae Graham and Jonas Valanciunas, and then you're bringing it back with Mikal and Chris Paul. So I like that, Steph. I think the first one's a lot safer. I think the game could definitely get out of hand. That's why it's kind of scary. And the first one would be safer inherently, but I think the second one is good in tournaments. Just know the risk of that Suns game potentially getting out of hand. Price Picks thinks Barnes will have a bad game or something. He's only 30 fantasy points. Yeah, I think that line is pretty low. We hit Harrison Barnes yesterday too, and that hit pretty easily. Luka and KBJ or Luka and Barnes? I'm going to go with Luka and Barnes there. DK showdown, Bucks versus Pistons. I don't really do showdowns. I do in-game showdowns. Graham, Cade, Buddy, Thanasis, Jonas, Paul, ABC, McGee, DK, Cash. Yeah, I mean, I like everybody in that, so I'm about it. Actually, I'm not really on Buddy, but outside of that, I like it. CP3 and Brunson or non-Graham. CP3 and Brunson pretty easily for me. KPJ or Nah. KPJ. Halliburton, Conley, or Healed. I'm going to go with Conley there. Already have Grayson. Let's take a look. 4,900, not Grayson. Where is... So Hart, it doesn't even have guard eligibility. Man, it's tough. It's probably going to be Pat Connaughton for me at 4,600. Brandon. Is Lyles okay instead of McGee? I don't think so. Bam or Butler. Going to go with Butler there. Any guard, $4,900 or less. Oh, yeah, I just went over that. Yeah, it's Pat Connaughton. Why does Milwaukee never get the single game slot? Yeah, I don't know. Paul, Conley, Portis, or Luka, Hill, and Thanasis. The Paul, Conley, and Portis side. Josh Jackson, Bible? No, not really. Is B.I. out? Yeah, he's not going to play. J-Val or Davis? Definitely Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis and Giannis, the two best spend-up options. Kyle Lowry, Tyrese Halliburton? Definitely Kyle Lowry. Any 3,600 play on DK? Yep, Cade Cunningham. Giannis and Allen in... Yep. Bucks will start Hill, Allen, Connaughton, Thanasis, Giannis. Okay, so we get Thanasis in the starting lineup again. He's $3,100. Again, very, very good play at that price tag. D-Book or Mitchell on FanDuel, last guy in. Going to go with Donovan there. Graham and KBJ and Cash, I think that's fine. CP3, Don Mitchell, Healed, Josh Jackson, Butler, Barnes, Melo, Portis, Powell playing on Australian side. I'm not really on Josh Jackson, but I do like I can get behind everybody else on the lineup. If Tyson and Ayton are both out, who do you prefer, Sengun or JaVale? Definitely Sengun. Thoughts on Jalen Green? Yeah, I think this is a pretty bad matchup for Jalen Green. It showed to be true in spades last time out. So not really on Jalen Green. Much better matchup for Kevin Porter. Damn, Ingram out. Yep. How high are you on Hill? Can you rank the Bucks? So definitely Giannis first. It's probably Giannis, Grayson Allen, Thanasis, then George Hill. I am kind of concerned about George Hill's minutes. I still think he plays 30 plus, but they did mention, Budenholzer did mention that they shouldn't have played him that much in a back-to-back, and because they played him 32 and 30 minutes, so maybe they scale him back a bit, or maybe just their next back-to-back they kind of tail things back. But you know, I still expect him to play around 30 minutes. No prize picks today. Yeah, I'm about to post that. Kyle Lowry and Mike Conley. Kyle Lowry. Luka 60 rebounds, a lock. I mean, the lineup's going to be smaller, so his rebounding numbers should rise. So, yeah, I like that. $4. 4,900 utility DK Grayson Allen. What is bringing you onto AD? I felt Rockets were lucky to keep game close, and if AD has great game limits, his upsides and blows out. Oh. Because I think that they are going to play much more. I mean, Frank Vogel keeps hinting at how much they're going to play small ball, and they slowly but surely are playing more and more small ball with AD at the 5. AD at the 5 is a whole other beast. He will literally dominate anybody on this Houston Rockets team. The upside is definitely there, even if he plays 3 quarters. But again, if you're fading due to blowout, go hammer the Lakers then. Is today the day for KBJ? I think it is the day for KBJ. At least on FanDuel. DraftKings, I don't think you have to play him. FanDuel, I think he's... I've pretty much just been locking in Kevin Porter Jr. ever since he's been at this 5.9K price tag. Jordan Clarkson or Cade. I mean, if I have the money, I'd probably get up to Clarkson. Bobby Portis or Pat Connaughton for DK. Probably... I'd probably go with Bobby there, to be honest, because I think Bobby plays, maybe like 4 or 5 less minutes, but much more active. KPJ, Cade, Allen, Davis, Giannis, Pat, Olynyk, McGee, GPP. Love it, Brandon. I love that lineup. Thanasis or Powell, point per dollar. Probably Thanasis. Sengun or Powell. As of right now, Powell. But if Tyson's ruled out, it's Sengun 100%. Hart or Bridges, last one in. Going to be Bridges. Corey, Porter, Allen, Hart, Giannis, J-Val, Cunningham, Thanasis, Grant. I'm not really on Grant. So maybe just like switch Grant and Hart. Make a 2v2 switch. Is Dorian a good play on DK? No, not really. CP3 or Bam? I'm going with CP3 there. I like Chris Paul a ton. McGee on FanDuel? Yep. They have to play AD at the 5 to open the court for Westy. Correct. I mean, dude, if you're playing Westbrook and DeAndre Jordan on the court at the same time, like, what are you doing? You're going to lose games. And I think they know that. I think that Anthony Davis is just really stubborn, and he doesn't want to play the 5, but, their best chance of winning is with him at the 5. Portis or Connaughton. Portis for me. This slate kind of sucks. Is no one on Luka? No, this slate is awesome. I really like this slate. I think it's really forward. You get Giannis. I mean, if you're a part of the Patreon, you know what the deal is. Bridges, CP3, or Hart and Booker, DK, GPP. Bridges and CP3 for sure. I like Bridges more than Hart, and I like CP3 more than Booker. It's like a really good spot for Chris Paul. If you guys are in here, if you guys enjoy this content, I am here every single day in the morning with my new video, in my primer video, and then an hour before lock every single day, breaking down the news and answering as many questions as I possibly can, just trying to help you guys out. If you guys could hit that subscribe button, trying to hit triple digits subscribers by the end of the year. That's my goal. Pistons will start Hayes, Cunningham, Bay, Grant, and Stewart as expected. Bridges, Hero and Graham are Mitchell and Grayson. I'm going to go with Mitchell and Grayson there. Nah, Halliburton, Clarkson, pick one. It's probably Nah there. Good luck, everyone. Let's go. Thanks for everything, man. Yeah, no problem, Brandon. I appreciate you being here. Hill or Connaughton? Probably Hill for me. I think the security in minutes is just a lot safer than Connaughton because with Semi Ojeleye being back, Bobby Portis, Rodney Hood being in the fold of things, you know, it kind of takes away from Connaughton's minutes in the wings and like Jordan Nwora as well. So we George Hill, you know, he really doesn't have all that much competition for point guard minutes. Not over 28.5. I mean, I would slightly lean over, but nothing I'm like drooling over for sure. I'm about to post the Prize Picks play on Patreon if you guys want to check that out. Keep up the good work, great content. Appreciate that, Richard. Graham or KBJ on DK? Probably Graham for me. Been with me since Lock CFS. Man, I should get my Locks gear out. Halliburton, Ingles, Healed, Bogdanovich, Holmes, Booker, LeBron, Thanasis, GPP. Man, definitely a tournament lineup. I don't think Halliburton, Ingles, Healed are going to get very much ownership. I mean, that is Andrew Fandy, Giannis. That's a contrarian lineup for sure. I mean, ownership's going to be low on those guys. So if you like that, you're on the right track. Sadiq Bey, good value. I'm not really on Sadiq Bey. It's with Cade back. Hill, Cunningham, Jones, Giannis, Val, Porter Jr., Thanasis, Davis. Thoughts? Love it, man. Porter, Cunningham, Allen, Thanasis, Giannis, Paul, AD, McGee. Love it. Yeah, we're coming up with some really nice lineups. J-Val or Gobert? Definitely J-Val. Brunson, Cade, Grayson, Thanasis, Gobert, Paul, Giannis, Olynyk on DK. I dig it, man. Bridges or Brunson, DK, GBP? I'm probably going with Bridges there. J-Val, Hill and Thanasis. Yeah, you could definitely play both of them. I think the minutes are pretty secure for both those guys. Do you like Porter or Thanasis more? Or Portis? I like Thanasis a bit more, point per dollar wise. There's also going to be a FanDuel update, guys. Actually, let me just do this real quick. Jimmy, Crowder, or Booker and KPJ. I'm going to go with the KPJ side. FanDuel update coming to you guys. It's just a quick 1v1. Do these lines move much right before lock? I don't know how they do it. I think it's just like whenever money's coming in strong on Prize Picks, they just they'll either take it off or they'll like pretty dramatically change the course of everything. The projection rather. J-Val or Gobert? I like J-Val more. What do you think, guys, of Hill, Allen, Barnes, Giannis, Olynyk, Paul, Bridges, and McGee? I can get behind that, man. I like it. Bridges or Brunson, DK, GPP? It's probably Bridges, but I do like Brunson a lot more that he's in the starting lineup. Okay, the FanDuel lineup update is live right now. Hero or KPJ? I like KPJ more. Thanasis or Crowder? I like Crowder more. Who needs to sit for Martin to play? Jayshawn Tate needs to sit Daniel Tice also being out helps him because a lot of the time Christian Wood will slide down to the 5 and they'll open up more minutes for KJ Martin. Kira, Cunningham, Luka, Thanasis, JV, Booker, Butler, McGee. I like that, man. I mean, you're going real stars and scrubs, but definitely viable. Fading Giannis is risky, though. What was the best center on FanDuel? Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee. Conley and Portis or Thanasis and Barnes? Probably Thanasis and Barnes there. Brunson a smash play on Prize Picks tonight. I do like the over. They keep moving these numbers on these guys. Favorite play for small forward? Probably Grayson has small forward. No, am I wrong? Yeah, Grayson Allen at 48. Hart or Graham? Graham for sure. Graham for sure. Pat, Grayson, or Cade? Pat, Grayson, or Cade? Cade there. What's the word with Portis minutes, if anything? No word on the minutes. He was supposed to be on a 15-minute limit last game, but he ended up playing 19 minutes. Now he's getting an extra day off. I'm expecting him to play, 22, 24 minutes, which he can definitely get it done in that amount of time. Especially with how thin this team is. They don't really have offensive players, so he could definitely get it done. Percentage chance Ty sits. I think it's like a 50-50. Porter Jr., Cade, Hart, Giannis, J-Val, Hill, Thanasis, Gobert. I like it. Conley, Cade, Grayson, ABC, Bam, Bridges, Lil ABC, and Gobert. From looking at your guys' lineups, Grayson should be pretty high owned. Graham or Larry, DK tiers, Graham for me. Barnes, McGee, or Kelly O and Bridges. The Barnes McGee side. Bam over 9.5 boards a lock. I don't know if that's a lock. I mean, he's going to be facing a smaller Mavericks team today, so I don't mind it. All right, guys. The official Prize Picks play is going live on the Patreon. I think we got some good value on it, too. So how many of you guys are playing Anthony Davis today? I feel like he's not going to be all that popular, which excites me. Thank you so much for subscribing. Yo, if you guys are new here, haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Would be greatly greatly appreciated. Prize Picks play is loaded up on Patreon. Okay, look at some last second questions. We got 6 minutes to lock, guys. Paul Brunson. Oh, whoops. Thanasis or Pat and Cash? I mean, point per dollar wise, it's Thanasis. But if you want to get to Pat, I think that's fine. Paul Brunson, Allen, Giannis, Davis, Hill, Thanasis, McGee, DKGPP. I like it. Paul, Cunningham, Allen, Giannis, Olynyk, KBJ, Thanasis, Barnes. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are just like falling onto Barnes right there. I mean, Barnes is a fine play for sure. But yeah. I was also looking at this projection. Grayson Allen over 1.5 assists kind of looks enticing just because, man, his assist opportunities have been there. They just really haven't been falling. Let's run up these likes as well. Yeah, I appreciate that, Sergi. 80 isn't going to be popular in my opinion. Yeah, he probably won't be. That's fine with me. I'll take all the 80 ownership. How's Graham, Conley, Brunson, Allen, Porter, Nah, Giannis, Thanasis, and Davis on FanDuel? So Fady McGee. Outside of that, I dig it. I'm not on Nah as much, but I think he's fine. I missed if you answered this. If you like KBG in a vacuum over Nah. I do like Kevin Porter Jr. over Nikhil. KBJ, Allen, Barnes, Giannis, McGee, Cade, Crowder, Gobert. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Man, a lot of you guys are landing on Harrison Barnes. I mean, despite the matchup, I mean, the opportunities are definitely there for him. But yeah. KBJ, Allen, Barnes, Giannis, McGee, Cade, Crowder, Gobert. Oh, I just read that. Graham and Sengun or CP3 and McGee. CP3 and McGee for sure. Unless we get news that Daniel Tice is ruled out within the next couple of minutes, and then I would go Graham, Sengun. Yeah, I like Kevin Porter more than Nah. I was really hoping I could get to Graham, but that's just not happening. Are you considering Melo, Taylor? Yeah, so I mean, like the one time I played Melo this year, he duds, and that was without LeBron. But I do think that this game does go small, and if this game is competitive, I mean, Melo's gonna play pretty much all of the fourth quarter. I think Melo's a fine play. I just prefer the other guys in that range, like Mikal Bridges and Bojan Bogdanovic. What's your favorite game to stack? The last game of the night, and well, you know, the real tournament play today is probably stacking the Pelicans Phoenix game, hoping that game stays close, because you could play J-Val and Devontae Graham, bring it back with Chris Paul, JaVale McGee. That's probably the best tournament stack, the Pelicans game. Cunningham or Grayson Allen? Cunningham, Davis or Giannis? Giannis for sure. Hey, appreciate that, Dirty Dan. Porter, Cunningham, Hart, Antetokounmpo, Wood, Hill, Valanciunas. Not really on Wood, but I do like the rest of that lineup. But I will say with Christian Wood, if Daniel Tice is ruled out, he's going to play extended minutes at the 5, because it's not just going to be Sengun playing minutes. And I don't think Usman Garuba really gets in the rotation, at least until the game ends up blowing out. CP3, Brunson, Bridges, Thanasis, Giannis, McGee, AD, and Cunningham dirty. No, I think that's a really good lineup regardless. I don't think it's dirty at all. Alright guys, we got 40 seconds up until lock. Graham and Allen or Hill and Barnes. I'd probably go with Graham and Allen there. For the showdown with Miami versus Dallas, how does this sound? Butler, Doncic, Hero, Finney-Smith, Dedmon. I mean, I haven't even looked at the showdown, to be honest. But Dedmon probably doesn't play all that much since Bam is healthy. I'm not really on Luka. I mean, I guess in a showdown, you would probably have to play him. I think I would go a more balanced build and would consider fading Luka here. Nah or Melo? Nah for sure. Alright, it is lock time. Heat will start Lowry, Robinson, Butler, Tucker, and Adebayo as expected. Alright, guys. If you guys enjoyed this, found any of this information useful, would really appreciate it if you guys could support me by just hitting that subscribe button. That's the #1 way of supporting me. Yeah, moving forward, if you guys want to know exactly what I'm doing on FanDuel, DraftKings, and PrizePicks.com, you guys can join my Patreon. It is the beginning of the month, $25 for the month of November. I think it's a really good deal. Also get my game notes. Yeah, you can join that. That is in the description down below. If you guys want to join my Discord, that is also free, listed